Got it. Okay. First items up on our agenda are the updates on the different places. 808 Jerusalem, I believe they were in front of the planning board and everything went okay. As far did they go back to the planning board after the initial issues and get the okay, or are we still waiting for that?
So it was the zoning board, but yes, they are concluded with that process. They just need the finalization of the decision, I believe, but they are moving right along.
Great.
I know that they asked for the waiving of the fees from the select board, and I believe they said yes to the ones that they could. But the big ones are sewer, and they basically told them good luck. And I think they're going to ask, but they're still asking for that. Okay. So I think that's moving forward, which is great. CJC Highway. It's there. I can see it.
They're working, they're starting the sewer work.
Okay. Now, is anybody living there yet?
No, there's no availability for certificate of occupancy permits to allow that until they finish certain pieces of it.
Posted it on the MLS though.
Oh, okay. That's good to know.
Hi, this is Mary. Can I ask the meeting just a little extra space and notes, because that would help with doing minutes. Because I'm in the little lines. Thanks.
Sure.
So for them, it's posted on MLS. So did they post all of the units or just some of the units?
I think several of them, just sort of like, you know, the one bedroom, the two bed, the different sizes, I think they posted.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Are they listed as available?
She's not showing them. Yeah.
That's interesting.
I know.
They're rentals, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then the sewer work is going to take a month. Is that what they're estimating?
Yeah, so there's a couple pieces at play here. But last I spoke with the building inspector asking for, Paul Kears is joining us. Asking for an update. He had anticipated that it would still be several months. We're probably looking at least towards the fall.
For that, so 3A is going to be disrupted till the fall.
I don't know if the disruption on 3A will be consistent, but until they're ready for certificates of occupancy.
Oh, he thought the fall. Okay.
Right. Hi, Paul.
Paul, we're just going through the pending developments so far.
Okay. Yeah, I'm probably gonna have to drive while I'm on the meeting here, but I get to leave by 4:30 at the latest.
I'll try to talk very quickly. The next one is the Elm Street offsite units, which is kind of the next. Let's just put that on hold for 1 second, because that's our next agenda point. So 1 Pleasant Street, the demos happened.
Yeah, it's down.
Like all of a sudden, I walk by and it's gone.
Yeah.
But I think that's just moving forward, right, Lauren? There's nothing for us to do, but
Right, they're on schedule. We anticipated that the demo would be happening this month, so they're moving along as well.
When do we expect that to be done? Sometime next year, or?
I would anticipate within the next year.
Next year. They're saying this year, so we'll say next year. Okay.
Yeah. It'd be ironic if that was the one that came online first.
That would be shocker, wouldn't it? After all the time we've been waiting for 808.
Any other locations besides, we'll talk about Cushing Street in a second.
I will note, and this is also sort of under 48 hours notice because I just got the email today, actually. The developer or the property owner who's interested in developing that 502 North Main Street emailed over plans with preliminary concepts. So I do believe that that owner will still proceed with the interest in doing a local action project to allow them to do that because it's not zoning supported there. So they do need sort of like a friendly 40B permit, which is what we've done for 808 Jerusalem Road, what we did for 390 CJC. So we will sort of continue to work with them through the process of that. They need the select board to be in support of that. It needs to come from joint the town and the owner. So, if this group, I think possibly at our next meeting, we may have a formal letter of support signed if that's something you're interested in doing. Because I know the select board will look to that to move forward.
And how many units would they have? Oh, sorry.
When in the site plan, it was hard to see just from looking. I believe that they're looking at about, like 14 units. I didn't get an exact bedroom count yet, but I'll have an update. Like I said, I just got their plans today, so I quickly looked at that.
This is
And they're
done by,
looking to do, it'd be a 3-story building, parking covered on the first floor. And then the living space would be this second and third floors.
And that would all be affordable, right? Or was it 25?
If they move forward with rental units instead of, condo ownership units, then if they'll have to do 25% affordable per the local action unit requirements. And then if they're rental, we would get the full count for however many units that there were towards the SHI.
Gotcha. Okay. Cool. So then any other sites before we go into Cushing?
None that are coming to my mind.
Okay. So, hopefully everybody saw the note for Cushing. So there's going to be a lottery. So these are real units that real people are going to live in, like the thing that we've dreamed about for ages. What I was going to do, and I just want to make sure nobody else has done this, is I've been sharing, I've told some people about it, but I was going to print those 2 pages out and give them to some of the local businesses in downtown because they are local action. 2 of them are local preference. So if there's people working, or I know like one of the big problems like the Anchor and Sail woman had, and even, Seabird has, is it's hard to get help to come into Cohasset because they have to drive here and nobody wants to drive here for a minimum wage job or a low wage job. So I was going to just let them know that it was there just so that they're aware and they can let their employees know if they want to.
what property?
What's that, Paul?
What property?
So it's the Cushing Street.
Cushing.
So it's the 4 units that will be for the
Harbor.
thing down.
Yes.
Yes. So
And what about the fire and police? Shouldn't we notify them? Some of those younger guys are, they don't have 2 nickels to rub together as far as housing.
So I did actually distribute to the municipal list, including police and fire, and ask them to distribute to any employees that may be interested. We have paper applications at in town hall in my office, at the town clerk's office, and also at the library. And the information packet is available on the town website. It's based under the Affordable Housing Steering Committee page. It's one of the first links, and we've been distributing in the weekly updates, information about it. But the more you can get the word out, the better. Of course, the lottery is coming up soon.
yeah. So there's, just so people are aware, there's a public information on June 29th. Then there will be applications are due by, I believe, July 15th.
July 25th.
July 25th, sorry. And then the lottery is in August. Do you have the date there?
August 19th at 3 p.m.
19th at 3 p.m.
Aren't there people that are currently living there who they thought were going to qualify for this? So are they in a sense applying and competing against these other individuals?
For those that are interested in staying that are income qualified to fill out the paperwork, have been given applications, and I did meet with one of them who put in the information. And they also, under the local preference, it's also people who are already living in town, so they're included in the local preference category.
Yeah, because they're already there in the units. Okay.
I think we want to make sure, and do you have any transparency, Lauren, into any applications that have gone in for the lottery?
I don't know yet, but I can ask for an update from Maureen.
I just want to make sure there's at least 4. So
Yes.
it's like, it's just be really freaking embarrassing if we finally get one of these things and there aren't enough people to fill them. So I think that's got to be our goal. I'm not looking to push the people out to make this super competitive, but I want to make sure that we do get at least this, filled. Cool. Yeah. So I'd say
Maybe the school department.
Oh yeah, school.
Yeah, absolutely.
Office.
And DPW, any of the town, but that's probably included in who Lauren has already reached out to, though.
He reached out to the municipal distribution list, who's a mass email list of
Yeah.
town employees.
So they're all notified, okay.
Would that include the school, Lauren?
You know, that's a good question, but I'll double check that it gets to the school. I'll put that on my list of things to do.
They are on a separate island.
Yeah, that's true.
Alrighty, so yeah, I'd say just like the to-dos for everyone is if you know anyone or know anybody who knows anyone, just make sure they're aware because it's gonna come up really quick. I'm gonna be away, but I'm gonna try to call into this June 29th, just to hear it, but post it where you can to see if there's so that make sure that we do get enough interest to actually fill them. But I think those will probably be our first units, that get in because they will be on our. We got to wait till the people move in or to the lottery to be done to count, or what do you think, Lauren?
I'm working on the paperwork application right now to get that done.
Okay.
And so, Rob, when exactly on June 29th, and what is that, as far as you said you're going to try to call in for that?
Do you have that in front of you, Lauren?
Yes, there's a public information meeting being held via Zoom at 6:30 on Wednesday, June 29th.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
And
so
that's public information for anybody interested in learning about the lottery, learning about qualifications. MCO will do basically like a public forum, answering questions and giving out information about the lottery.
Okay, yeah, I have a friend whose son is a
Something in the
farmer.
Mariner?
Sorry.
What was that, Mary?
Can somebody put that in the Mariner?
Can we put it in the Mariner, Lauren?
I
Yeah, a
think we
little
can do a
press
press
release.
release.
Yeah, probably would make sense.
Yeah, it'd have to go in for this week, 2 more days. Mariner now's coming out on Thursday and it goes out to other towns.
I'll talk to our communications person about that. I'm sure we can take care of that.
Yeah, we have a communications person, so
Yeah.
that's a good idea, Mary. Cool. Oh, the one other, we had been talking about the existing affordable units. I've kind of run into a dead end. I was trying to work with Ted Carr on DHCD, but I haven't had any luck in contacting anyone to figure out what we can do. Maureen said she couldn't help us because of the way they were set up. I'll continue to lob some emails, but we're just kind of going into a big giant void. It feels like at this point. Cool. All righty. Election of
mean-
officers.
For filling the units at 60 Elm?
What was that? 60 Elm.
Sorry, I can't help you. I'm doing the best I can here.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get on and it's not working. Were you talking about the units at 60 Elm that remain unfilled?
No, I was talking about, there's the 2 Habitat units on 60 Elm, and I believe they've approached the trust to see if they wanted to buy them. That's a good point. I forgot about that. Because it looks like the people might be moving out or have moved out, and they're not deeded as affordable right now. So that could be a way to get them into the affordable housing stock.
So they did that. It took the process, and Habitat, I believe, was involved in that, and has to be done for the next sale.
So what was that last part, Paul?
It has to be done before the closing of the sale. If they sell the closing, then it's too late.
Yeah, I think the idea is that Habitat's looking to wipe their hands of it and give it to the trust. So I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Exactly what's going on there.
I'm sorry, I
yeah,
misunderstood which
just-
properties you were talking about. I've been communicating with Noreen and she's coming to the trust. They'll have to meet in the executive session because it's a discussion about real estate, but that's ongoing right now.
Yes. So I think it's the Elm Street, ones that, I think
Yes.
that's where they are.
The old water department or whatever it used to be building. There's 2 condos.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's 2 condos there. It's across the street from Elm Street, the 60 Elm that you know.
Oh, what about the, what's the address for the one across from the Catholic Church?
147 South Main.
147. He's just moving forward slowly but surely.
I do believe that is still the situation.
Yeah, I mean.
He came before sewer a couple weeks ago. Everything was fine. He was having a walkthrough that day with the building inspector. So I think everything's rolling.
And he's expecting 4 or 5 units?
3.
3.
Oh, I thought it was more.
Nope.
Oh, it's only 3. Okay, sorry.
But all 3 will count because he's
No.
yeah, 1. Okay, cool. Any other?
So what's the status again?
For which one? For Elm Street, it's
The
they're
one- yeah,
talk-
no, for South Main, sorry.
for South Main is he's continuing the process of getting all the approvals to build, so nothing for
Okay,
us to do.
sorry,
but,
thanks.
But he's working with Maureen as well, so that when it does get finished, they'll do the lottery for that. And
Thank
that's fun. The work with Maureen is funded by the trust.
Okay, thanks.
Oh, I thought of an update.
Oh, cool.
We have a new application for the planning board for a special permit and site plan review at 55 South Main Street, which is the gas station in the village across from French Memories.
Mhm.
I am not entirely sure exactly as to how they plan to fulfill their affordable housing requirement, but they will have an affordable housing inclusionary zoning requirement because they're doing more than 5 residential units. So as soon as I have more to update on that, I will have that for you, but we can put that on our list of something that will cause some sort of inclusionary zoning requirement.
Cool.
Are they going to be affected? I know you were putting in a grant to move that culvert that abuts that property into the Sawchuck property.
Correct.
So yeah, are they going to be part of that, or are they aware of that, or does that affect anything?
They're aware of that. It doesn't affect their plans. Their plans were to cantilever over that to not disturb it. As they're moving forward, I think that they're moving forward at a faster pace than we would see if we get that grant, that would come to fruition. So they're moving forward, whether that happens or not.
Okay.
Is this the Gelateria people or is it something different?
Sorry.
Is this the Gelateria people? Like there was somebody who wanted to make a gelato store?
Oh, I'm not
Next
sure.
Okay. It was a woman who came and spoke to us.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Cassie was here. Yes, I forgot that she had mentioned gelato was a plan, but I hope that is still part of her plan, selfishly.
I thought this was
Good.
a Rosano that was putting the gas station in, right? Yeah.
All righty. Anything else?
That's all.
All right. Who wants to be chair?
You draw
And
straws?
they all shut off their computers.
Don't look
I
at,
mean, I got there's a lot of connection problems.
So I'll fill the vice chair again.
Wait. So we have a vice chair possibility. Oh, that sounds like Susan wants to be chair.
Can I nominate Paul?
read my lips.
Chair?
I'd like to nominate Rob as the chairman for another year.
I will second that.
Are you
I-
leaving, Rob, or are you gonna stay on?
All right, well, I'll move that we move this to next month. I'm going to consider staying.
Yay.
Consider. I'm not saying I am, so.
Don't you want to see this through to fruition? I mean, we're getting so far, so close.
And we're like a well-oiled machine these days.
There are other things going on in my life that I will not be sharing in a public recorded session, but I have to share with you.
That's okay.
So let's kick this. So let's table the election. Well, I'll be here for July, so we can make it, and I'll let you know my decision then. I got calls from Gene, Steve Gomer, who else was it? Jack Creighton, been very busy, over the past couple of weeks. So I'm willing to consider, but it's nothing to do with you guys as to why I want to go. It's 100% my things going on in my own personal life and things.
Isn't it nice to be so wanted?
It's lovely to be wanted. My wife might kill me if I stay on for another 3
Yeah.
months, so. But okay, so I did send out a letter for, I don't know if did people have a chance to read that? I can share the screen if not.
I didn't see it. I
Yeah,
couldn't-
you-
Share my screen.
I didn't find it.
Yeah,
I don't think I saw it.
there was no attachment, Rob. You said you were going to send it, but
Okay, so people want attachment on letters. There we go. So we're there. Can everybody see that?
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can read it as I'm talking. Let me see if I can make it a little bit bigger for you.
Yeah.
Where's the size?
It's in the bottom corner where you see 100%.
Yep. There we go. So the general concept here is, we know that the planning board is looking to drop their requirement to have somebody. So, knowing that, saying that we would be between 5 and 7, people. So if there are more residents that want to do it, great, we'll have them in, but we could go down to 5 if there's only 5 people, and that's only requiring 3 for a quorum, and we could move stuff done. So really what I'm just saying is, drop the planning board, keep the liaison from the housing authority. Is that the right term, Susan? Is it that housing authority?
That's on mute. Yes, and I'm no longer on the housing authority board, but I am the liaison, so that's the right terminology.
And then elder affairs, we would keep the liaison there, and then there would be 3 to 5 residents from the community based on interest. And that way we could still be up to 7 if there's enough people who are interested in it. But I am concerned between the trust and ourselves, that could be a challenge. I just do want to share with you, I did have a discussion with Gina, I did have a discussion with Jack. I guess there has been talk of dissolving the Affordable Housing Steering Committee or putting it into the trust. My personal view, not speaking on behalf of the committee, was there was a reason for the separation. The idea is one controls the purse strings and the other kind of comes up with the ideas and makes the suggestions. In addition, the trust has no oversight from the board, whereas we do. So if the board has things that they want to get done or things to be focused on, they use us as that conduit. But the trust can act completely independently. So if you were to just fold us into to the trust, then that's kind of like the people who have the money deciding what to do with the money, and some might feel that there's a conflict of interest. I don't think they're going to dissolve it, but that was a point that they asked to talk to me about. I just wanted to let you guys know that I did speak to them and what I told them.
I think that was a good reply.
yeah, there was a long debate that we were part of when we first started this group.
Mhm.
And I know Steve felt very strongly about it as well at that time. So we did keep them separate because it's, we're able to go out and do and hunt and talk to people and kick around a lot of ideas in the public forum, in which the trust is kind of regulated to what they can do because of the money situation. So that's, they wanted to keep it independent, which I think is still a good idea to keep independent. It just don't, you don't have to meet once a month. You can meet every other month, and you can go from, a 5-person committee. It doesn't have to be a huge thing. I don't know. There's a committee that runs the town commons. I think, what do they meet, like once every 2 years or something, or once a week? I don't know.
Yeah.
But so there are, I suspect our workload is going to drop after, the 4 big ones come online, once, Stop and Shop comes online, and the housing over there, the Habitat comes online, One Pleasant Street will come online. There's not much more to build in town except for what's going to happen in the village. And, there's no other place to start stuffing affordable housing unless you're on 3A, but 3A doesn't have sewer. So it limits the size and ability for people to construct anything.
I think that, yeah, we might go back down a little bit, but I think there'll always be something to do and we don't want to
Yeah.
die completely. We have those already affordable houses that we can get into. It's like we'll have more time to focus on some different things. I know that the select board continually talks about the accessory dwelling units, which if they do pass something where they start, counting all of those, won't impact us, for this census, but for the next census, that's gonna raise the denominator quite a bit. And so it's just something we would probably need another development of some sort if they do that. So I think there'll be things to do, but yeah, to your point, we used to be every other month and we could probably go back down to that, once we get through a lot of these things. I think, yeah, part of the challenge is they are, and I think it's a good idea, they are looking at committees in general and, what's working and what's not working. I personally feel our committee is working and that, but part of that's because we have a very clear focus, get affordable housing units. It's something, and that's our goal. It's not come up with some great idea or something like that. It's more of like, either you get it done or you don't. I think we've been very proactive in dealing with the state, dealing with let's rephrase that. Lauren's been very proactive in helping us, deal with the state, deal with, developers and stuff like that. So this is work that they don't have to do. I think the way that some of the other committees are set up, it's very difficult because they come up with an idea that then gets handed over to the select board, and then the select board has to do all the work, and they've got a million things to do. So I think that can be challenging. So I think it would be a mistake to get rid of us, but I honestly don't think they will. So I'm not too worried about it. Any concerns with how this letter is written or any of its content? I think that is a no. Can I? Oh, sorry.
Is it HUD or is it just the Housing Authority?
Well, that's what he's changing at the bottom where he says, please consider changing it as follows. And it would say liaison from Housing Authority, because we don't really have HUD.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. It's not HUD.
Yep, I just fixed it.
It's also in the first paragraph.
Yep.
In the first paragraph, it says, the charter currently has 7 positions, one from Planning Housing Authority, I guess is what you're saying,
I'll just move it to change to
Oh, and
Keep it simple.
elderly is.
and Elder Affairs.
elder affair. No, just elders. We just ask our elders to come. Anybody over the age of 65, you count. You're good.
The other, just to give you just a point of information.
Yep.
I was there when the planning board did their reappointments this year, and they're sort of we have a lot of new members. As they're trying to scale back, like sort of redundancy as they go to more and more meetings, they felt comforted by the fact that I am always with this group so that I can serve as a back and forth liaison for both groups. So I just want to let you know that was sort of part of why they felt comfortable saying, we don't really need a direct liaison as a member.
That makes sense, I
Yeah,
think.
it makes sense. Do you mind having all these hats, Lauren?
Oh, I have them anyway. So, and I said that to them. I said, I'm always at the Affordable Housing Steering Committee. I work with them. I'm all at all of their meetings. So I'm happy to provide updates back and forth.
And did you mention to them that we schedule our meetings at 4 o'clock and not after hours so that you can actually go home at a reasonable
Yes.
time?
Since you have so many other meetings at night anyway, Lauren, you're entitled to a little bit of a life.
Thank you.
Cool. All right. So can I get a motion?
So do we have the town planner on as a de facto board member, non-voting?
You don't, but you might want to make that recommendation.
Yeah, we probably should do that then, because we have that at Elder Affairs and it works out extremely well.
Oh, so we'd have to change that the way this is written here. We'd have to add 1 liaison from Housing Authority, liaison from Elder Affairs, and basically you as the planning director.
Right, as ex officio.
Yeah, it's
Also request
there's a name, there's a Latin name for it, it's de facto something.
ex officio, is that it?
Yeah, ex officio, yes, thank you. That's exactly right.
So what is that? So we'd also request that we have,
Because it's non-voting, but she does all of the work as a voting member. So discussions and all that stuff. So.
Yeah. So we have an ex officio member from the town planning.
Yes.
Right. So she does, in discussions with the select board, we need to state the fact that Lauren, through her full-time job and description, does represent the planning board as well as the master planning group, which we have a seat with as well. So she does cover both those areas.
And she's really the planning department, which is not the same as the planning board.
Right.
So maybe you should add that. Yeah, Rob.
From the, I'll read it in a second just to make sure.
Sure.
It's okay.
So and I know Katie Dugan resigned, but the selectmen said that they want to keep the master planning group going, I guess, or have you heard anything on that, Lauren?
They're actually discussing it tonight.
Okay.
So I do believe that they plan to keep master plan in some capacity, but I believe is to be some restructuring. There had been some splintering of working groups that I think they're trying to sort of fold back into the larger umbrella organization. But again, I don't know exactly. Oh, my computer just died.
So now, because we were part of their grant to get our housing plan, they came out of that master planning group grant. So now is our housing plan carved out of that and now lives independently with the housing trust, or does that housing plan live with the steering committee?
You mean the housing
Or who-
production plan?
Yeah.
It belongs to the town, right?
Right.
Is that with you, Lauren, essentially, under the planning department?
Yes.
Okay, so because it's a living document, right? That needs to be updated periodically. So that lives with the planning department, your department?
Well, so actually it's a living document in the sense that we're working to implement and do things with it, but you can't actually continue to update it because once that document is written and approved by the state, that's their bar for like measuring progress against it.
Okay.
So, for example, at some point we can.
For a period of time, though,
Correct.
or is it indefinite?
No, until you do a new one, basically. They're good for like, I think it's either 5 years or whenever you do a new one.
So we can update it essentially is what you're saying, and then they would approve it.
Right, we would update it, but we would put a new year on it. It wouldn't be like an active editable document.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that if something happens to master planning, that we still have our housing plan elements.
Yes,
Okay, so it's with you, okay.
correct.
And if they decide to dissolve the housing committee here, what happens to the housing plan?
That would be under not our problem at that point.
Yeah.
So we know we cease to exist. We don't need to worry about it. That would be their problem.
Yeah. No, the plans are still, they're not rescinding any sort of plans. They're still adopted, still using them. Whether or not this committee existed, I would still be here, hopefully anyway. So
Right.
I don't know. I think they're going scorched earth, Lauren. Everybody.
we never know. So I should be crossing my toes.
Cool. Jen, do you
So
have
Lauren,
any
are they-
insight that we should know?
No, I was just gonna say that I've gotten a couple of emails and I know the master plan is having similar discussions. And I guess one question, Lauren, is are they thinking about these two things together when they're thinking about future committee structures? I guess that's sort of the question is does the board, are they aware of this sort of interconnectivity? I mean, I'm sure you're probably going to be there and make sure they are, but.
Well, to some degree, yes. I think that's part of why they're doing some of the consolidation that they are, because we wind up in these scenarios where it's like you could be, for example, elected to the planning board, and then you're strung into like all these liaison seats. They wind up having so much duplication and so many meetings that it's getting a little too cumbersome. And as we see the working group splinter off of the master plan, like there's just so many meetings. It's getting to a point. It's like we can't even, we don't have enough days in the week to schedule meetings. So it's like, I think that's why they're trying to consolidate it.
I was not sure, I'm not sure what in the reconfiguration of the liaison role from master plan. And I think I became a full affordable housing member, but I'm not sure what my term is. Like, was I taking over someone else's, was I taking over
Peter's, you're taking over
Peter's,
Peter's term.
yeah, Peter's
Yes.
term. And then I also think, I think my master plan term may technically end not too long from now as well. So I'm not really sure where that lands in terms of my future, my future. So as some of these questions have come up with both, I was not sure.
Yep, I think it's up. I mean, before you were here, we were talking about that because I'm not sure if we ever got the select board to officially put you on this, this board. So, oops. So that it's really at this point.
We need to do that.
Yeah, it's like if you'd like to be a, you know, a residential member of the Affordable Housing Steering Committee, we would love to have you, whether I'm here or not. But yeah, it's but that's 100% up to you. If you do, then you would submit the documentation. Lauren can send it out. If not, that's okay. We still love you.
Yeah. No, I mean, I really care a lot about the stuff that this group is doing. I also know master plan has a lot of work to do. And so I'm not sure what depending on the current configuration, I'm happy to help in whatever way makes sense. So, Lauren, I
Sure, there might be an open chair position in this one, so I don't know. It's like-
I've heard the same about the others.
Jen, to
Yeah, if
answer
you're
your
taking
question,
that one, then you might want to drop off of this one because that's pretty busy from what I understand.
Yeah, I also have, personal things that make it hard to do that at this point. So I don't know, Lauren, it's bend your ear, get some input from you on where you.
absolutely.
I'll leave to you whether or not that makes more sense to wait until after they've talked about restructuring tonight.
Yes, I'm kind of waiting for tonight's conversation on a lot of things, actually. So, but yes, I also did reach out to ask for the most up-to-date roster of when the appointments were for this group to really just clarify and answer those questions. So I'm just waiting to get that information.
That's good.
So Rob, who is this addressed to?
The select board,
It is, okay, that's what-
Cohasset Select Board.
yeah, okay. Just couldn't read. the top.
Can I get a motion to approve this letter to go to the select board?
Motion to approve.
Beth motioned. I think Susan seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. We're just gonna say unanimous. Were there any nays? No, I didn't think so. Any other discussion? No, okay. Let me stop the share there. Hey, we voted on something and got it done. All right, I hope it did go out. Did everybody get the minutes from May 24th? I'm gonna say yes. Can I get a
Yes,
motion to
yes.
approve the minutes?
Yes.
I read them.
So Paul motioned, Susan
second.
seconded. Any changes to it?
Nope.
Nope, all looks good. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'll say that's unanimous. All righty, so we've got two things done. I am working on the previous, minutes. The notebook where I wrote all my notes is somewhere in my house, but we have not yet found it. So it's like, I'm going, I tore it apart, like, I was going, I know I took notes and I know I have these things somewhere, but.
Well, Lauren, the meetings are recorded if worst comes to worst, but that's gonna be a long slog to go through it all.
That's good. Are they all when did you start recording?
Once we went on Zoom, we started recording everything.
Oh,
That's why
all
it's
right.
been actually the holdup about going back to in person is because they really like having all the meetings recorded, and we can't right now guarantee that when we go back in person that we also have the ability to also record everything, and that's why there's been this holdup.
Gotcha. And do we really need minutes if we have a recorded meeting?
That's another big question.
I think that's a very,
Can my minutes be, please see recording, and then that?
Well, we asked about that, and there's some goofy state law about meeting minutes having to be written or something because they're not up to date with recordings or something like that. But
Okay.
we asked them that several months ago for sewer. Could the recording me, in fact, the meeting minutes, they said no.
Well, I will say that the one good thing about having, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, because it's keeping to be unstable. The one good thing about having some kind of a written document is that if you have to miss a meeting, you don't have to, come into town hall and try to listen to an hour's worth of, recorded meeting. You can just see a quick recap. So I don't know. That's for what that's worth.
All righty, we are up to member comments. I will let, well, my upper left-hand corner is Lauren. I know you're not technically a member, but any other comments?
No, I don't have anything to add that we haven't gone over already, but thank you.
Cool. Beth?
No, I think I'm all set too.
Susan?
I think I'm good based on everything we've discussed.
All right, good luck for your doggy. Jen?
Nope, I'm good.
Okay. Mr. Kears?
I'm good. I just want you to remember that even though the renewal is for 3 years, you could stay on for a year and then resign a year later.
Oh, could I?
So I'm just saying, it's
Just saying.
I understand.
you got to get to one ribbon cutting.
Nothing is forever.
Yeah, as I cut the ribbon, it's like, and I quit.
Well, as I call it now, I call it blue doolies, so we can go over there
There we
after a
go.
ribbon cutting. Yeah.
All righty. So we'll help the people move into Cushing, and then, that'll be it. Mary, anything from your side?
I was just gonna, no, it's out of my head. But I kind of echo the comment that you don't have to stay there forever and cherish whatever. Oh, I know what my comment was. If you find the notes and you want to get them to me, I'm happy to try to type them up. And the other thing is, I've worked on committees where there's a form, so you don't have to write down Mary seconded, da 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 da. There's some place where you could maybe check for things.
Okay.
So, that might make it easier for everybody. So I can't say I'll take it over because I've missed a third of this meeting because of my Wi-Fi, but I'm happy to help transcribe, play secretary, whatever.
Hey, with your intermittent Wi-Fi, that could work out.
All right.
All righty. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Bye.
All right. Have a great day.
Bye.
Thank
All right,
you.
take care.
All right,
Thank
wait,
you.
are we doing another meeting or you're just gonna send something out?
Yeah, we'll do something in July. I'll be there for July. I'll be at the next meeting. Yeah. And
All right.
we'll send something out, figuring out when's a good day to do it.
Like later in the month? probably.
Okay, I'll reach out to coordinate.
Okay.
Thank you,
All
Lauren.
right, take care, everybody. Bye.
Thank you.
Enjoy the longest day of the year.
Thank you. Take care.
Laura,
Bye.